Welcome to College Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: why has a designer Dior handbag shaken up South Korean politics? Retail traders are losing billions in India's booming options market. Columbia University targeted by expanding House anti-Semitism investigation. How San Francisco staged a surprising comeback. House votes again on impeachment of Homeland Security Secretary. Here's what you should know. Why has a designer Dior handbag shaken up South Korean politics? ABC. South Korea's First Lady, Kim Ki-hee, has been embroiled in a scandal after allegedly receiving a luxury handbag as a gift from a pastor. The Dior bag, worth $3,400, was reportedly given to Ms. Kim in her private home in September 2022. The pastor secretly filmed the exchange and claimed to have had ties to Ms. Kim's deceased father. The scandal has raised questions about ethics and the future of the ruling party ahead of the upcoming elections in April. This is not the first time Ms. Kim has faced public scrutiny, having previously apologized for inflating her academic and career achievements. Retail traders are losing billions in India's booming options market. Bloomberg. India is home to the world's largest retail options trading market. Retail investors in India are increasingly turning to options trading as a way to make quick money, despite the high risks involved. In 2023, Indian investors traded 85 billion options contracts, more than anywhere else in the world. The country has topped the charts since 2019 when it first overtook the US in the volume of annual trades. The rise of options trading is fueled by influencers who promote the idea of making quick profits in the stock market. Promoters charge fees for courses and often make recommendations in private Telegram or WhatsApp groups that regulators struggle to police. Indian regulators are concerned that regular investors are bypassing traditional investment strategies and engaging in pure speculation. The Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, says that 90% of active retail traders lose money trading options and other derivatives. In the year ended March 2022, investors lost $5.4 billion. A majority of retail investors in India trade options for less than 30 minutes. This trend is concerning for regulators who believe that retail investors are not properly educated about the risks involved in options trading. Columbia University targeted by expanding House anti-Semitism investigation. CNN. A congressional committee investigating campus anti-Semitism is expanding its probe to include Columbia University and has demanded that the university hand over a range of documents to lawmakers. The committee has expressed grave concerns about Columbia's response to anti-Semitism on campus. Representative Virginia Fox, Republican chairwoman of the House Education and Workforce Committee, has requested that Columbia officials produce a range of documents by February 26. This includes reports on anti-Semitic incidents, findings of disciplinary action against faculty and students, and information on foreign donations. How San Francisco staged a surprising comeback. Economist. San Francisco is emerging as the leading city in the field of generative artificial intelligence, AI, with almost all major AI startups based in the Bay Area. The city is home to tech giants such as Meta and Microsoft, as well as AI-focused companies like OpenAI and Scale AI. According to a think tank, San Francisco accounted for nearly 10% of generative AI job postings in the US last year, more than any other city. The concentration of AI talent and funding in San Francisco has helped drive the city's economic growth, even as it has faced challenges such as the COVID-19 pandemic and rising crime rates. Despite these challenges, San Francisco's tech elite have largely weathered the storm, and the city's population is now better paid and more educated than before the pandemic. The influx of AI talent and investment has also led to an increase in house prices and a revival of the city's dining scene. However, there are concerns that the AI boom could lead to job losses in the long term, as AI tools become more advanced and require fewer developers to operate them. House votes again on impeachment of Homeland Security Secretary. Here's what you should know. Associated Press. The Republican-controlled House is set to vote on whether to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas over the Biden administration's handling of the U.S.-Mexico border. If they succeed, it would mark the first time in nearly 150 years that a cabinet secretary has been impeached. House Republicans have spent months investigating the secretary's actions in an aim to make immigration and border security a key election issue. Republicans have blamed Mayorkas for the increase in illegal border crossings and migrants coming to the U.S. They say the Biden administration has either gotten rid of effective policies that were in place under the Trump administration or implemented policies of its own that have attracted migrants. They argue that he has violated immigration laws by not detaining enough migrants and by implementing a humanitarian parole program. However, Democrats and legal experts have said that this is essentially a policy dispute and that Republicans just don't like the immigration policies that the Biden administration has implemented. Mayorkas and his supporters have often said that it's not the actions of the administration that are drawing migrants to the southern border, but that it is part of a worldwide phenomenon of migrants, driven by political, economic, and climate turmoil, who are more willing to embark on life-threatening journeys to seek out a better life. We all have a duty to ensure our teenagers are safe online. South China Morning Post. The internet can be both an educational and dangerous place for young people, and all stakeholders must collaborate to ensure children's online safety, according to Yelena Xu, a counselor at the University of Hong Kong's Center for Suicide Research and Prevention, and Paul Yip, director of the Hong Kong Jockey Club Center for Suicide Research and Prevention. They said the responsibility to educate young people on how to navigate the internet should be shared between parents, educators, social workers, and regulators. Jupiter may have been flat at one point, not spherical. The Independent. Large planets like Jupiter may start forming as flattened disks called oblate spheroids rather than as spherical structures, according to a new study. Astronomers used computer simulations to model the formation of protoplanets, finding that they are more likely to have flattened structures. This discovery could help inform astronomers on how to observe planets under formation. Kansas basketball suffers lopsided defeat on road in Big 12 conference play at Texas Tech. Yahoo! Kansas basketball's 2023-24 season continued Monday with a 79-50 loss in Big 12 conference play on the road against Texas Tech. The number 7 Jayhawks, 19-6, 7-5 in Big 12, didn't have either graduate senior guard Kevin McCullough Jr. or freshman guard Jamari McDowell available. That meant the Jayhawks were without a key starter and a player who could be part of their rotation off the bench. Graduate senior guard Nicholas Timberlake got the start again in McCullough's place, and finished with 13 points and a few rebounds. Watkins scores 32 and number 10 USC pulls away in third to beat Arizona 81-64 for its fourth straight win. Associated Press. Juju Watkins scored 32 points to lead number 10 Southern California, USC, to an 81-64 victory over Arizona on Monday night. Watkins broke the school record for the most 30-point games in a season, recording her 9th of the year. USC moved back into a fourth-place tie with number 9 UCLA in the Pac-12 conference. Kayla Padilla added 15 points for the Trojans, while Raya Marshall contributed 12 points and 10 rebounds. Esmery Martinez scored 13 points for Arizona before fouling out and leaving the game with an injury. USC outscored Arizona 23-11 in the third quarter to take control of the game. Model and influencer shuts herself in a toilet stall at the Super Bowl after incessant harassment. ABC. Influencer and model Morgan Riddle spoke out about her experience of harassment during Super Bowl 58, saying that she was repeatedly grabbed, groped, and harassed by men at the event in Las Vegas. Riddle, who has a large following on Instagram and TikTok, detailed the encounters on her Instagram stories, explaining that the harassment was extremely stressful and scary. She received both victim-blaming comments and messages of support in response to her revelation. Similar instances of harassment and violence around sporting events have been documented in various countries, often attributed to increased alcohol consumption. Vietnam's workers cash out pensions early ahead of new law. Nikkei Asia. Vietnam is amending its pension laws in order to deter people from withdrawing funds before retirement. However, some workers, including those in the electronics and clothing supply chains, are getting jittery about potential cuts to payouts and are quitting their jobs before the law comes into effect. Concerns are growing over the number of workers sacrificing their future safety net for immediate emergency funds, pushing people into precarity. Officials are considering ways to keep workers within the system, including TikTok campaigns and legal incentives. The Indonesian election will see more than 200 million head to the polls. Here's what you need to know. CNN. Indonesia, the world's third-largest electoral democracy and largest Muslim-majority country, will hold its presidential election on April 27. More than 200 million voters are eligible to participate. The country's three main candidates are Prabowo Subianto, a former army general and incumbent defense minister, Ganjar Pranowo, a former governor of Central Java, and Anies Baswedan, a former governor of Jakarta. Subianto is the frontrunner, but his ties to the late dictator Suharto and allegations of human rights abuses have raised concerns among some activists. Other issues at stake in the election include job opportunities, corruption, and the environment. More than 1 in 5 Indonesians aged 15 to 24 is currently unemployed, while Transparency International has ranked the country 110 out of 180 nations in its annual Corruption Perceptions Index. Meanwhile, deforestation and land degradation have accelerated in recent years and industrial activity has polluted the country's air and water. The election is also likely to be influenced by the country's significant social media presence, with 60% of voters under 40 using it as their primary source of information. Chinese funding of Nigerian railway highlights its support of African growth. South China Morning Post. China's desire to commercialize overseas lending is reflected in its decision to change the bank financing a major rail project in Nigeria. The funding for the Kaduna-Kano Railway, part of the Belt and Road Initiative, was originally meant to come from China Exim Bank before it pulled out citing concerns over Nigeria's ability to repay the loan. The funding is now being provided by the China Development Bank, highlighting a shift in China's overseas development finance from concessional to commercial lending. The move is likely to result in a rise in Chinese lending to Africa in 2024, when Beijing is set to host the Forum on China-Africa Cooperation. Pesticide maker used weak data on Parkinson's. BBC. Chemical manufacturer Syngenta has been accused of ignoring key health records in studies on its pesticide Paraquat, despite facing legal action over alleged links between the pesticide and Parkinson's disease. The BBC has seen court documents in which the company admits it only looked at death certificates of workers at its Widnes site, rather than their medical records. The study has become a key part of Syngenta's defense in U.S. litigation but has been rejected by 3 different academic journals. Leading Parkinson's expert Professor Bas Blom said scientists across the world were convinced Paraquat causes the condition. Parkinson's UK called for more robust and independent research into the link between pesticides and Parkinson's. Charity director Professor David Dexter said international studies overall suggest that exposure to pesticides may increase risk of the condition. The bittersweet reason chocolate prices are at a record high this Valentine's Day. ABC. The price of chocolate has risen by an average of 10.3% over the past year due to a global shortage of cocoa, according to Rabobank. The price rise is forecast to continue for the rest of the year, with Rabobank predicting a third consecutive cocoa deficit of 160,000 metric tons in 2024. The shortage is due to a fall in cocoa yields in West Africa caused by bad weather, disease, deforestation, and declining numbers of cocoa farmers. Hello, everyone. It's your favorite observer from the 6 Degrees World, Dr. Six. I hope you're all doing well and ready for some exciting news updates. Let's jump right into it. First up, we have the scandal surrounding South Korea's First Lady and a designer Dior handbag. Now, I don't know about you, but I've never seen a handbag cause such a political stir. It seems that the gift of a luxury bag has raised questions about ethics and the future of the ruling party ahead of the upcoming elections. Who knew a fashion accessory could have such an impact on politics? Perhaps we should start paying more attention to our accessories, folks. Next, we have a story from India, where retail traders are losing billions in the booming options market. Now, I've always been a fan of the saying, don't put all your eggs in one basket, but it seems like some investors in India didn't get the memo. With influencers promoting the idea of making quick profits in the stock market, many retail traders are bypassing traditional investment strategies and engaging in pure speculation. The regulators are concerned, and rightly so, as 90% of active retail traders lose money in options trading. Remember, folks, there's no shortcut to success. Moving on to the world of academia, a congressional committee is expanding its probe into anti-Semitism to include Columbia University. Now, I don't know about you, but I always thought universities were supposed to be bastions of knowledge and inclusivity. Unfortunately, it seems that anti-Semitism is still a concern on some campuses. The committee is demanding documents from Columbia to assess the university's response to anti-Semitic incidents. It's a reminder that we still have work to do in creating a truly inclusive and tolerant society. Now, let's head over to San Francisco, where the city is staging a surprising comeback in the field of artificial intelligence. Who would have thought that the city by the bay would become a hub for AI startups? With companies like Meta, Microsoft, OpenAI, and Scale AI leading the charge, San Francisco is emerging as the leading city in generative AI. The concentration of talent and funding in the city has helped drive its economic growth, despite challenges like the pandemic and rising crime rates. Just another reason to love the tech world. In political news, the Republican-controlled House is set to vote on whether to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Now, I don't know about you, but I can't remember the last time a cabinet secretary was impeached. Republicans are blaming Mayorkas for the increase in illegal border crossings and migrants coming to the U.S., while Democrats argue that it's just a policy dispute. It's a reminder that politics can get messy, folks. Moving on to a more serious topic, the internet can be a dangerous place for young people, and it's our duty to ensure their online safety. As counselors and researchers have pointed out, parents, educators, social workers, and regulators must work together to educate young people on how to navigate the internet safely. So, let's all do our part to make the internet a better place for everyone, especially our teenagers. In the world of science, astronomers have made an interesting discovery about Jupiter. It turns out that large planets like Jupiter may start forming as flattened disks called oblate spheroids, rather than as spherical structures. Who would have thought that Jupiter was once flat? It's a reminder that science is full of surprises. Now, let's talk sports. Kansas basketball suffered a lopsided defeat on the road in Big 12 conference play. It seems like the team was missing some key players, and it's always tough to win without your full roster. But hey, there's always another game, and I'm sure the Jayhawks will bounce back. On the brighter side of the sports world, USC had a fantastic win in women's basketball. Juju Watkins scored 32 points, breaking the school record for the most 30-point games in a season. Way to go, Juju! It's always great to see athletes breaking records and achieving their goals. Now, let's talk about a serious issue that needs more attention. Influencer and model Morgan Riddle spoke out about her experience of harassment during the Super Bowl. It's disheartening to hear about instances of harassment and violence, especially at such high-profile events. We must all work together to create a culture of respect and safety for everyone. In Vietnam, workers are cashing out their pensions early ahead of new laws. It's understandable that people might be worried about potential cuts to payouts, but sacrificing future security for immediate funds is a risky move. It's a reminder that financial planning is essential, and we should all be thinking about our long-term security. Now, let's head over to Indonesia, where the presidential election is just around the corner. With more than 200 million voters eligible to participate, it's a significant event for the world's third-largest electoral democracy. The candidates have different backgrounds and face a range of issues, from job opportunities to corruption and the environment. Social media is likely to play a significant role in the election, with many young voters relying on it as their primary source of information. It's a reminder that technology has a powerful influence on politics. Finally, let's talk about China's support of African growth. China's decision to change the bank financing a major rail project in Nigeria reflects its desire to commercialize overseas lending. The move is likely to result in a rise in Chinese lending to Africa in the coming years. It's an interesting development that highlights China's commitment to supporting economic growth in the region. And there you have it, folks. A whirlwind tour of the latest news stories from around the world. Remember, it's important to stay informed and engage with the issues that affect our lives. So, what are your thoughts on these stories? Do you have any questions or opinions you'd like to share? I'm all ears. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.